Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I know I can stand secure. Jesus, you're my firm foundation. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. I have a living hope. I have a living hope. I have a future. you're my firm foundation. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy word. I put my hope in your holy I'm walking that line, never look back. I'm walking that line on the right track. I'm never alone, not alone. He's holding my hand, and everything's fine 'cause I'm walking that line to the promised land. Why don't you walk with me, travel eternity, staying within His light, keeping the end in sight. We will not go astray. Together His will obey, and we will win the fight. We are walking with Christ. I'm walking that line, never look back. I'm walking that line on the right track. I never.
Good evening and welcome. We have some late starters, so been committed to start on time and to respect your time. So I'm opening the meeting, but I'm wondering if no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead. All right. Because I respect the fact that you have taken your time to be here on time. So I'm going to respect that. I do have some apologies, for example, from my co-facilitator, Brother Andre Allen Casey, who will be a little bit late, but we will go ahead. And I am one of the facilitators of our program this evening. We will be looking at developing new habits. We have been going through a series, part of our Navigating Life series, that has been looking at habits, actually looked at breaking bad habits. Tonight, we want to look at creating new habits, developing new habits, and sustaining those new habits as we seek to look a new you, create a new you. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me inform you that this Navigating Life series is a ministry of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. And before we go further, I'd like for us to just bow in a word of prayer. Almighty God, we give you thanks, Lord, for this opportunity to examine ways in which we can create lives that are more pleasing in your sight, lives that are aligned with our goals and with your will for our lives. So, Lord, as we examine this issue of habits and the impact that habits have on our existence and our relationships and what it is that we achieve, Lord, we ask for wisdom. Help us, Lord, that as we go through this interactive session, that we will do things in order and that we will be respectful of each other. We pray all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Right. So, I'm Trevor Smith. I am a behavioral coach. I'm one of your facilitators. Brother Andre Allen Casey is a leading counseling psychologist. He will join us in a little while. And he is a devout servant of God. And so he will join us and add his wisdom. A little housekeeping. If you wish, you can use your video. If you do not care to, that's fine as well. I'm going to ask you that you keep your mics muted unless you are recognized to speak, so that we can actually unorderly just let me record this so that you will have this available. We will share information as to how to access these replays. It's St. Andrew Church of Christ.org/media, and Simply Christian JA also has them. So St. Andrew, if you just write it all out, St. Andrew Church of Christ.org/media, you will find a lot of rich content. All right. So I'm going to move ahead because we want to use the time. I'm sorry for those who are late. We normally have 4 times this number. All right. So we have been looking at breaking habits. I want to just highlight a few things because some of you might be coming in for the very first time. And so just wanted to quickly run through some of what it is that we have looked at. One of the things that we said was that if you are relying on willpower to achieve your goals, you need to do a little bit more, because willpower is actually overpowered by deeply embedded habits. Let me put it this way. And so we use this model. It's from Gerald Kind, who is, or probably was now, a leading hypnotherapist. So basically the idea is that suggestions will come into, this is the map that looks at where we are. This is where willpower is, where you are now, paying attention to me, hopefully, where you rationalize things and you analyze things, etc. So all of that is taking place on the surface. But below the surface, which is where habits are, that's inside in the subconscious. And then still deeper would be where we breathe and so on. And then suggestions that come in are met by this thing that we call the critical factor of the conscious mind. This is where, when the idea comes for you to do something different from you have been doing, it has to pass a sort of border guard. And the border control is very strict. So very little gets to get past to come in. And that's why it is so difficult to break new habits, old habits, and to bring new habits in, because this barrier is what keeps us to be who we are. This is what defines who we are. And if we allow too many things to come in, it might change who we are. So it's good in the sense that we are not easily led to do things that are not aligned to our values and so on. But at the same time, that control also stops us from doing some of the things that we should ideally be pursuing. All right, so that's basically what it is. And we talked about the camera. And this gives you another picture of what we're talking about. So here, above the water, you have the willpower and your decision-making skills and so on. And this is where your New Year's resolutions are, your commitments, your plans, all of these grand plans that you sit down and you decide what it is that you're going to do. This is here up at the top. But under here are these factors that tend to counteract what's going on above. So these are the beliefs, the values, habits, the degree of confidence, your emotions, all of that. And fundamentally, this is the problem, that we consciously see this and we feel good about it and we're committed and we really mean it. But these other factors here tend to overpower willpower. All right. So, for those of you who like technical terms, this is the reticular activating system. That line that I called the critical factor of the conscious mind. All right. So let's just move quickly. So what we're talking about then, if you are going to look at bad habits, and of course now, when we're looking at creating new habits, you want to be clear about what it is that you're dealing with. So you want to make sure that you identify the real issue. One of the things that we have said is that we tend to deceive ourselves in the sense that we might have an issue, but rather than identify the core issue, we might call it something else that's more pleasant. So, for example, if we're speaking to a brother or a sister or a friend, we might not label the real problem that we're having and give it a fancy name, in which case we sort of cover up what is really there. So as we speak honestly with ourselves, we need to be clear about what it is that we are actually dealing with. The example that we use, can't give too many of them now because this is a recap, is that we might look at the human body and to say that we just admire shapes, but really and truly, are we really lusting? So that's something that we have to look at. Then this now is critical going forward. Triggers. Habits come from triggers. We go to the situation where rain, we know we have clothes on the line, it's set up, we're going to take up the clothes because rain is going to come. That's what we're talking about. Critically, when it deals with habits, we have to look at triggers. So that is one of the key pillars also to be applied when we want to create new habits. We have to create new triggers, set up new triggers so that those habits come into being. So that's fundamental. We need to identify triggers. Then the other end of the spectrum is, what is the payoff? What are the benefits? We are rational. We might use wrong information to come to our conclusions, but based on the information that we have, our belief systems and values and so on, we make rational decisions. And so basically, if we sustain a habit, it is because there's a spin-off. So you might say, how could somebody be cutting up themselves, hurting themselves, and saying that, that they're getting a benefit from it? Well, if you go back to Colossians, one of the things that happens there is that those people have the belief system that the body is corrupt. And so therefore, the more I can punish the body is the more spiritually sound or whole I am. So I'm just saying to you that habits have a payoff. And one of the things that we have to look at, honestly, within ourselves is to find out, why is it that we are doing this? Anything that's recurring in our life happens because there is a benefit. We feel that there is something and we're getting from it. Somebody could actually demean themselves. And you could say, why would they put themselves into that position? How could there be a benefit from that? Well, it could be that they get pity, they get, empathy, they get attention. So those are some of the things that we have to look at, that there is a spin-off. So if you're going to actually get rid of the habit, two ends of the spectrum. One of them is what triggers it, so we can know this is going to happen. Just go back, just think, what led up to the action? What led up to my doing this? And you could actually go back and trace, and you could see that there are a set of triggers that led you to the action. And of course, having done it, there is the spin-off. And then there's a middle piece. But let's talk about some of the consequences. That's more or less kind of reinforcing the habit side. Not going to spend a lot of time here. Next thing would be to replace it. You can't have a vacuum, okay? So if you actually want to get rid of a particular habit, you need to find something that replaces it, that's similar, that gives you the same level of satisfaction. So that's something to look at. Don't just say, okay, my resolution now is to get rid of this. What are you going to replace it with? All right? All right, so let's spend a little minute here, because this is key now to creating the new habits, is to understand, this is some of the neuroscience, thank God, technology is improving, medical science is improving, where we now understand that there is actually physical action taking place when we do things, right? So there is actually physical change in the brain when we do things. And so similar to this is what we call in neural pathways, is that when we do something, there's a nice grass, nice brain, and then we decide that we're going to develop a habit. And gradually, as we walk, the first day might not see a sign, and so we start to look at where we're going to go next. But then after a while, we start to see the grass trampled down, so we follow that path. And before long, we have this track. And obviously, we're coming up the road here, we know exactly where we're going. We're not even thinking about it. We just know that this is how we get across the other side. And so that's what is happening with habits. And there's studies that indicate now whether it is 40% at least of our actions are on autopilot. Right? Okay. And I learned a new fancy word about it, is interoception. Interoception is this autopilot concept. Always nice to use technical terms. All right, so basically, if you want to get rid of the bad habits, then you have to start to walk on a different path. If you keep walking on the grass, on this dirt track, the grass will never grow back. So the thing would be now to say, find out ways that we're going to walk on the concrete, or don't even come here because autopilot is going to carry you across. Put a barrier here, or walk on the other side, go around, the back, don't come this way at all, so that it doesn't arise. All right. So that's the middle piece now, which is the control in the environment. So we could actually do something so that we actually set up that it is not possible anymore physically, bar this track. So you could do things to stop you from going, accessing it. So you just avoid. We talked about coming down Red Hills Road, and you are an alcoholic, and you decide that you're going to still stop into the bar just to say hello to your friends. Not a good idea. Maybe what it is that you just have to ban yourself. You never, ever go on Red Hills Road even. So those are some of the things that we have to look at, which is the middle piece, which is the environment. In other words, these things happen in a particular situation, a set of circumstances. Try to avoid those circumstances or change those circumstances such that they do not enable the habit. Right. So, all right, so we want to track our progress. Don't give up. This is you have spent, I don't know how many years developing this habit. You have been walking on that grass for so long. Don't expect the grass to overgrow immediately. Stay the course. All right. All right. So those of you who are strong into willpower, the key is not to totally dismiss willpower. I know I've said it's at the top and it's going to be overpowered. But the key would be to use your willpower to develop new habits, create new pathways. Yeah. So stop. I think I need to go back and just share a little bit. This was the research that showed the difference between people with strong willpower and those that didn't have strong willpower. And yes, people with willpower actually were more successful in changing habits. But how they did it was by not trying to resist the temptation. What they did was to focus on distractions. In other words, they distracted themselves. Let us say, for example, that there is some really nice smelling pastry, in a room, and you like pastry. And so the thing would be, what are you going to do about it? Because you are on a diet, you say you're not going to eat the pastry. All right. So one school of thought is that you try to resist. You say, okay, I have strong willpower. I'm going to not, I can say no. I can say no. Just say no. That's one approach. Other approach is you take yourself away totally, even out of reach of the smell. Just go somewhere else. That's the more successful approach, where you actually find a way to not resist. We're not saying don't resist. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying don't resist temptation. I am saying to you, a better strategy is to totally avoid the circumstances that can lead you to be tempted. That's basically what it is that we're saying. All right. So here is the tripod in terms of unlocking a new you, tripod in terms of getting rid of habits that you would want to get rid of, that you want to change. So the first one is run. Bible tells you flee temptation. So you want to run wherever you have identified that this is the trigger. So whenever you see the trigger, forget the idea that you can resist. You are always overestimating your power to resist. Remember, we're combating powers that are beyond us. So the key is that flee. Identify your triggers and run at the very appearance of those triggers. Then the environment. Set up things in a way. So for example, one of the things that we use, a powerful one, is the temptation to take up your cell phone. You're working, you're in a conversation, all sorts of things like that. And the automatic thing to reach for your phone. One way to deal with it is to put the phone away somewhere, lock it up away in a drawer, and to say, well, okay, fine, I'm going to be in this meeting, I'm going to be in this conversation for 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour. The phone is away. So there's no temptation to reach for it. That's what we mean by sanitizing the environment, creating an environment in which it's not possible. So let us say, for example, you want to diet, go back to these things that are challenges, and you tend to want to eat unhealthy foods, put it this way. One of the things to do is don't buy it. But let us say that you have some. Put them up in a cupboard somewhere where you have to climb on a chair. And at the other side, you have the healthy, nice food ready, in a convenient place so that you can actually snack on healthy things. That's what we mean by sanitizing the environment. It is making sure that you create a space whereby you can, in fact, avoid, not necessarily resist, I'm saying avoid the temptation. And then looking at the cravings now, you have to replace all the benefits that you have been getting from the things that you have been doing with something of similar level of satisfaction. So you need to find something that replaces it. So let us say, go back to the diet, the eating, the weight loss. It could be that in terms of the satisfaction that you get from eating a nice potato pudding, that somehow over time, if you went and got the nice testosterone, adrenaline pump from really running around and going to the gym and getting a good workout, that can potentially replace the satisfaction that you were getting. So you need to find something. So we're not looking at now changing from cheesecake to potato pudding, but find something that's different and better. All right, so I'm gonna change gear now and move into today's session, but I just want to know if there are any quick questions. I will give you a few minutes. Anybody wants to share anything? My brother Andre is there with me now, so this is his time as well if he wants to share anything.
Oh, all is well.
Cool. All right. So, new share. So we have been using in this presentation, this series, we have been looking at, well, for habits, looking at different approaches, different ideas, approaches that people have put on the table. Tonight, we want to use our own technology. We want to look at our 7 A's framework for producing change and to see how that would help to carry us as we look at transformation. So we want to look at what that framework is. I have to salute my daughter Kerry, who worked along with me with this. I'm not sure whether it was a Brendan Burchard or a Tony Robbins. I don't remember which one of the sessions. We were at a workship overseas together and we created this. So this artwork is definitely hers, not mine. I'm a stickman person. So these are the 7 A's. So this is your purpose. And it starts with access. And then here's the 7. So access, then you need to accept, then you need to assess, then you need to adjust, announce, apply, and align. And we're going to go through that and see how that can take you through. So these are the 7 A's: access, accept, assess, adjust, announce, apply, and align. All right. Roll up your sleeves. Let's go. Let us see if this can help us as we go forward. All right. So what is access about? And by the way, our philosophy is that you can definitely teach old dogs new tricks. Right? So it's possible. It will take time, but it can be done. All right. So the first thing about it is just to open your mind to new information. Remember the critical factor, that barrier that shuts out new information. Basically, that's what keeps us to be who we are. Right? If we took on board everything that came up, we wouldn't be who we are. And so that thing protects us. And so if I am a couch potato, I sit before my TV and watch sports all day long. My gosh, that probably is what heaven is like. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. And I start to grow sideways. I And then, in between, there's a commercial that comes to say, jam fit, or whatever they call it. Jamaica on the move. So I'm likely to change the challenge because that thing is jarring to me. I don't want it. I don't want to hear that. Why would I want to hear that? Well, let us keep it even more real. So you're watching a program and there is a commercial that comes with the political party that you're not fond of. Are you going to sit down and listen to that? Or they have a broadcast that they're going to be talking for half an hour? Are you on that channel? Okay. So that's the question that we're looking at. But we're saying if there's going to be a new you, some of what exists needs to change. And the only way that is going to happen is if you are willing to accept new information, access new information, know what possibilities there are. So you have to open your mind to new information. And the part of that information, unfortunately, and I'm saying it advisedly, unfortunately, comes from instruction and feedback. Somebody's going to say to you, Trevor, you see what you're doing? That is not right. That is not the right way. Don't do it so. Stop that. It doesn't look good. Who can hear that in a female voice? Anybody married here? That's it. That's why we have wives, to take care of us and to let us be improved. That's what we take. That's why we get married, right? They don't understand that, but that's the basic rationale. Even when we push back, we know that that's what it is about. So we get a free ride. We get counseling every day. We don't have to go to Andre as to how to improve ourselves. So that's basically it. But seriously, we tend to push back. We tend to fight and get upset and wonder why people saying this thing about me, and and maybe you stay the same way, as we will see later on. But the key is, especially when it comes to feedback that we might think is a fight against or negative, listen, take it on board, listen. When I say take it on board, listen. I don't say take it on board fully yet. Listen, at least have come to a full understanding of what the person is saying. Understand the feedback. Understand the feedback. Listen to that, right? So allow yourself to be empowered by constructive feedback or by challenging experiences. So that is the other thing you can learn from, that you tried to do something, you did your very best, and it failed totally. Don't get frustrated. Understand that that could be a learning experience. We now know how not to do the thing. So what I'm suggesting here is that have a mindset that is information hungry, that you want information, you desperately need to have the input. And even if the information is unpleasant to you, even if it runs counter to everything that you hold dear, listen. Just find out a little bit more about what is coming. Yes? So yes, it might cause you to bow your head down and feel uncomfortable, but listen at least. Not done yet, so we're only at access. So, and so the reason why we're focusing on that is that we can always identify our areas of development. We don't see it. We just lively going along happily. We are wonderful. Every one of us, we think so much of ourselves. Those of you who have high levels of self-esteem, we think we're good. We're pretty good. So we're not really as skillful in looking at the little nuance deficits in our behavior, areas that could be improved. All right. So when you shut off feedback, then the invitation for self-examination and improvement goes by the wayside. And by the way, again, as we go forward in this thing, we're looking at habits within habits, right? So we need to develop the habit of habitual self-examination. Yes? So if we develop that as a habit where we examine ourselves on an ongoing basis, we're going to be better off. All right. And so, curiosity. explore new things. As they say, no, we're not necessarily looking for bad habits. We have dealt with that. We're looking at new possibilities. Is there something out there that might be an opportunity for you that if you didn't read this book or check out this news feed or go to this channel, you would never ever know? If you didn't listen to this TED talk, you would never know that this was an opportunity for you. So be hungry for information. If you want to create this new you, this better you, be hungry. Just read things, just make yourself available for information. Sign up for webinars, sign up for, just make yourself available. Yeah? Okay, so for example, there is a little book thing that you can get. It's a subscription, Blinkist, Blinkist, where they look at books and they summarize it, and you can get it in audio and you can get it in print, text format, and you can just do it on your phone, and they are like 10, 15 minutes. So you could actually read a book a day, almost. And then, of course, if the information goes deeper that you want, then you can actually buy the book. So those are some of the things that you can do. And of course, Amazon also has Kindle books so that you can do that. All right? Okay. So we move to now accept. And the accept here is conditional. Yes, Brother Andre knows that I talk about a sieve. So not every information, when you go to weddings, people get all sorts of information about what they should do with their life, etc. And one of my advice to the couple is sieve is not every information that you get is valuable and applicable to you. So you actually need to have a sieve to take out what is of value to you and throw away the rest. Do not be afraid to throw away information that you have tested and found to be inappropriate, incorrect, or not applicable to you. No matter what the source. So when we say accept, this is not blanket now that everything you hear you have to, own, right? So the accepting process is that you seek to understand the feedback before rejecting it, but you can reject it, right? So at least if it is something to try, again, give it a chance. Let us say that you get information that a particular diet, a particular regime, exercise regime, whatever it is, religious practice. Yeah, let's see, get into some more, do the study. You can get invited to a study, go, participate, see what it is before you throw it out. So that's what I'm saying. All right. Here is the other thing now. This one is a little tricky. As you can see over here, person is saying, but I fixed it. No, man. You're talking about the chair? Yeah, man, I sorted it out. That is how we live our lives sometimes, is that there was an issue, and as far as we are concerned, we have fixed it. That problem no longer applies to us. But let us say there's a relationship that I said something to somebody or did something and they were offended. And I said, I'm sorry, it's all right now. It might not be. One of these comes up now, I think right now in the public space, we're looking at somebody who feels as if they were sexually harassed. Person says, whoa, I didn't mean anything, I'm sorry. That person might feel, okay, it's fixed, it's done. It might not be. It might not be. So we have to be careful when we think that a matter is over and decide to leave it alone. Part of that acceptance then is that you could still make yourself available to access the feedback, and that feedback might still be current. All right? So, if you don't do that, and you believe that things are settled or things are no longer applicable, and they are, it could actually frustrate this quest for your new you, because that is still hanging out there. All right, let's move the process forward here, because we still want to have some questions and so on. So part of the accepting as well is that have a mindset that new information could actually transform your life. Put value new information. Don't see it as a chore. Somebody sends you something. Oh, I shouldn't say that because, but anyway, people share information nowadays. It's just like when the internet and emails just came out, you used to get a flood of forwards and so on. No, you're getting it on your phone. So you're getting closer and closer. But yeah, some of it is valuable. And so instead of throwing away the phone, look at some of them. And that there might be some work involved if you want to develop new habits. I mean, let us say something that you want to do, you want to learn to play an instrument, there is going to be some work. You want to learn a new language, there's going to be some work. All right. So here's a big problem with the accept. We know it. But you tell me that I dig my nose, you must see you. So you can't talk to me about that. No, man. So don't let the source of the information distract you from the potential for transformation. Yes? And this is not showing anything at anybody, because you couldn't show them anyway. But there are coaches who are not exactly slim and trim and have world records, but they have created world records. So a lot of people saying if you can't teach. I hear that and I don't agree. I believe that you can in fact teach even if you have not done. I'm not defending myself, but I'm just saying to you that forget this idea of where you're to talk. Look at the value of the information that is coming in. All right. So let us move now. So we have decided that we're going to let the information in. We have decided that we're going to screen, but we're going to definitely hold on to those pearls of wisdom. Now, part of the decision as to what pearls to hold on to comes in the assess phase. So we're not sure yet what to hold on to, so we want to assess. You have to be brutally frank with yourself. Yes? Is this really a problem? Are they just fighting against me? Well, maybe, but let us be sure. So conduct the gap analysis of yourself. And there's a strategy that I like to suggest to people. One of them is that what works and should be reinforced. In other words, when you look at your life, you can be honest with yourself. Hey, I'm pretty good at this. I seem to manage, I seem to get on with people, or I have this done, I can learn languages, or I'm good at math. Whatever it is, be comfortable with what it is that you can do and do well. At the same time, bring the same level of honesty to the analysis as to what is it that needs improvement. What are the areas for development? Where can I be better? Do things better. So take a look at yourself. All right. So that is how you want to start the assessment process, is to really be honest about where you are and what are the issues. Going forward here, but remember, if you need to have a question or to make a comment, not a lengthy comment just yet, please. So we have looked at making yourself available for information to flow in, to look at holding on to the kernels, looking at yourself so that you can actually know what is it that will benefit you. And then having decided that these are important things, then make the decision, man. Make the decision to go and fine tune, make the adjustment. So long we put off things and yes, we're going to work on this. No, come on, make a decision and go for it. No, go for it now. there was something that I wanted to share at the beginning, and I forgot it. But here it comes at the right time now, actually. And this is the ultimate habit. As I say, there are habits within habits within habits in order to get to your new you. And one habit I would suggest is that you develop the habit of rejecting words like, I don't feel like it. I want you to actually, if you can type into the chat in a minute, words similar to what I'm talking about that cause you to put off things. I don't feel like it. Maybe tomorrow I can look at it. Or, oh man, it's too much trouble. If you have any like that you use, you can just share it with us. But what I'm saying to you, here's the key habits of all habits, is that whenever those words are the ones that you use come into play, immediately you go and do what it is. There's some people talk about a 2-second rule or so on. So let us say the thought comes that you should get up and go and do some exercise. And you say, but I don't feel. No, right away, get up, put on your shoes and go outside. That's the key. That is the ultimate method to create a new you. Because it is those negative comments, those procrastinatory comments, if you want to look at it that way, that cause us to get stuck with where we are when we want it to be somewhere else. It's always me, but I don't think I can manage it. But I don't know, you have any that you use? Those are on mine. I can't tell you that. Not right now, though. I believe you, me. You understand how tired I am, And in the case, I'm not so sure that I can do that because, me already. My memory is bad. Those are some of the things that we use to stop us from making progress. And I'm saying to you, the ultimate habit of habits is the one that puts a stop to that kind of talk. That every time it happens, develop the habit. That's where your self-discipline comes in now. That's where your self-control and all your discipline and all of that comes in, the willpower. As soon as the light comes on that you're supposed to do this, and something says, wait a little bit. But you have to do it right away. Because anyhow you allow time, then the good reasons why you're not to do it now will come. So you have to act immediately. It's like a lightning, an electric shock. Get up right away and go do what it is that you are saying that maybe later or can't do that right now. Believe you me, if you ever know how tired I am. Yeah. I'll do it later, Jasmine. Sis, at another time. Thank you, Brother J. All right. So that's the idea. Immediately take action. So that is the ultimate. All of the other habits that I'm talking about, other strategies, just remember that one, because that is what stops us from achieving our goals. There is always something that says why we can't do it or why we can't do it now. Or yes, something, but believe you me, this is such a brilliant idea. I don't know why I never think about it myself. Yeah, man, count me in. Count? 3,010,000, 3,011,000. Okay. All right. So the part of the adjustment is to identify the required adjustments from your gap analysis. So you need to know what it is that you're doing, right? So you're not just adjusting. We saw the mechanics with the thing. You can't just change whatever it is that you're doing, the engine. You don't fine tune the engine. You have to have new measurements and guides and so on. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems. So what it is that you need to know, what it is that you're fixing. And of course, reflect on the implications of the course, either positively or negatively. What is it if I don't do this? And what is it if I do this? And critically, believe me, count the cost. Count the cost. Because you're going to make a decision, and if you have not counted the cost, you might actually find that when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, because you have not taken the cost into consideration, you just can't go forward. And what that does is that it's because a habit is a habit. So if you find yourself making decisions, not counting the cost, then you start to develop a habit of who you are. Who I am is somebody that will say, I'm going to do this, but if the going gets tough or there's a challenge there, then I back off. And I'm going to develop myself as a person who refuses to take on challenges, who refuses to do things that are difficult. Believe me, I'm telling you, there's a habit, and it's a neural pathway. So make sure that you count the cost. And if you count the cost and you say that the cost is too high, maybe you can decide to say, listen, I've looked at it, I really want to do this, but when I consider what it's going to cost, I can't do it at this point in time. That makes sense. Don't know if you agree with that, but counting the cost makes sense. Then prioritize. Believe me, the more you read and the more you look at it, people really break things down into small things. And so I think I gave an example of a gentleman whose coach, behavioral coach, says to him, he wants to lose weight. He says, just go to the gym. I don't want you to do any exercise at all. I just want you to drive to the gym every day at a particular time. Go inside, go back in your car, and go home. Do not do anything. Right? So that sounds like foolishness. But gradually, the guy goes there, and what the coach was trying to get him to do is to get into the habit of turning up consistently. And then eventually the guy is saying, okay, but I'm here, I might as well. So that's what happens. And after a while, he lost the weight and got whatever it is. So what I'm just suggesting is the small things. People are talking about, like if you have an essay to write the topic, just write the line. So all I'm going to do today with this is to just put it in the heading, nothing more. That's a way to start to get to a place, because at least you have started, and then you come back, you're going to see, okay, what are some of the things that I might put in there? But if you set up yourself to say, oh man, I have to write this long treatise, it's frustrating. You're going to say, yeah, but I can't manage it right now, and it's too much. And something, because I'm going to need so much energy, let me go eat something before. That's how life is. Just do something. Do a little piece. Break it down. Do a little piece. And also be honest with yourself. Do not cheat in the other way now, where you're saying, okay, fine. If I'm just going to write the heading, don't say, all right, since I'm here, let me write the first 3 paragraphs. Integrity with yourself as well. So that you know that the next time you say, okay, fine, I'm only going to do this little thing, yourself and your habit of being honest with yourself knows that you really only mean 5 minutes. Because if you don't do that, it's going to say, remember you said that last time? And look at it, all midnight, I'm still up. Be honest with yourself. Develop the habit of being true to yourself, where you actually commit and you said, okay, I'm going to do this. And so it becomes easy for you to start things because you know that you have broken it down. All right? And don't confuse yourself with too many things. Habits are very hard to develop and very hard. Just think about the pathway that I showed you with the grass. Right? If you wanted to develop 4 of those, you see how much walking you have to do? But if you walk over the same place over and over and over, that grass down, it will wear away the grass. So that is what's going to happen with your neural pathways. Don't try to create too many of them at one time. Focus, focus, focus. All right? Good. Making some good time. Gonna actually, because we're at 5, and then we're going to have some practical situations now. We're going to see, using all the things, because today is hopefully we're wrapping up, pull all the things that we have learned together and look at some of your habits. The last time we looked at breaking some, we're going to look at some more today. And then here's a big one. And sometimes people forget this mega one. Announce it. get your crew excited and ready to support your transformation. Tell people, yes, hey, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. Yeah. Hey, the next time you see me, not a word of English is coming out of my mouth. I'm going to be speaking Swahili to you. tell them, let them know. Listen to me. By the end of the year, I'm inviting you to a concert. I'll be playing piano, cello, and bat. No, only one, right? That's what we say. Cello. Right. So announce. All right. So declare your commitment. So we have gone on at it. Remember, we do the work now. The information came in because we were open. We accepted it because we had assessed it. We have decided that we're going to make the adjustment because it is valid and we want to achieve our purpose. So now we are saying, having done all of this work, we are ready to announce. We're ready to say, yes, this is what we're going to do. And we need to affirm it consistently. Yeah? Repeat it. People tell you all sorts of things. Write it on your thing, write it on your mirror, put it all over the place. Keep on going through the fact that this is a reality. This is the new me. People have a number of different ways. Yeah. So people talk about, again, using different science things. They look at the neuroscience and they are saying, these are the areas that modify behavior more. So that you have one hand on the front, one on the back, and you have your deep breath, and then you go for like your 2 minutes of reciting this new you. Those things, yeah. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying to you, suggesting that those are some of the things that people have researched and say work. Another one, I think we mentioned that in a much earlier process where we looked at what we call the empowering why questions, because the subconscious, that's how you find your keys when you can't find it, is that the brain goes looking for information that's missing, that you need. And so if you ask the brain, why is it that I speak Swahili so fluently? The brain is going to start to look for reasons to support that. So that's what we call that empowering why, or somebody calls it an affirmation with O instead of the I, where it is that you, by asking these questions, by setting the brain up to look for these answers, then the brain will start to prompt you to do things like, hey, can you get a book on Swahili? Can you get a tutor? Yeah. So that's it. But the key, though, is that when you ask the questions, is not to answer it. By saying, when you say, why do I speak Swahili so fluently? It is not, what, Swahili, and you can't speak English? No, answer it. That's not your business. Leave that to the brain. Have you ever been flustered? You're trying to do something, and you bother in the brain, where it is, man, where is it? Come on, tell me. You're not going to get it. But the minute you say, something, sure, can't bother with you. You go about your business, the brain come back and say, hey, come on, hey, this is where it is. So leave the brain alone. You just put the question, leave it, come about your business. All right? So communicate to others. Let the people know what it is that you're doing, and then put yourself where you can't back down. Hands up. So, Trevor, that's Swahili thing. In a word, shame face. That's what you need to do. You need to put yourself in a position where you can't back down. How is it coming, Trevor? Well, tell the truth. No. Do you want to develop the reputation? Do you want to be in the habit of announcing things that do not come to being? The boy, Trevor, is a good guy, You have some really good ideas, Always looking to suggest things, but boy, never follow through. Is that a reputation that you want? No. So I'm suggesting to you that when you put yourself, but bear in mind now, go back to counting the costs. Right? If you had counted the costs, then you wouldn't be in that position. So do not go out and say what you're going to do unless you have counted the cost and know that you can deliver. All right. Leaving time for communication. So let me go back up with gone too far. Right. Okay. So now we are at apply. So we did the information, vet it. So we accepted it, decided to make the adjustment. And now we are on the clock. Now we have to go and apply it. What is it that would help us to apply this acquire this new habit? What is it that is going to get me in the gym 4 times a week? What is it that's going to help me to play the cello? What is it? What's it? Remember the last slide of the last session that we were looking at, the payoff, that craving, that satisfaction that we get, that has to be at the forefront. So basically, when we're looking at it this way, when you're creating a new habit, we have to flip the script, where we actually have the motivation at the beginning. That is what is it. What is the great thing that we have to do? That is what then is going to lead to creating the sanitation of the environment and creating the trigger. So we have to look at it from the reverse now, where we want to say, what is it? Why is this so meaningful to me? What is the great benefit of this new habit? Wow, 6-pack, or I just have more energy. Before, I just couldn't do anything, and also healthy. I used to have, hypertension. Now, because I lose the weight, I'm better off. All of that, we just need to bring that to the fore in real tasty. You can actually taste and feel the benefits of the outcome. Reinforce those, because that's why we're doing it. That's why we're doing it. Yeah? Need to leave money for the grandchildren. Need to pay off the bad debt. I don't know. Something that's real, genuine, that you keep before you all the time. Right? And then, so that's basically what this is about. And bear in mind that this thing is a process. All right? You're not going to get to this right off the bat. It will start and it will look ugly, but eventually beautiful end will come. So that is what transformation looks like. It starts out ugly and goes through many changes, and then it gets to beauty. Bear that in mind. All right. The feedback that you should get, and that's one of the great benefits now of announcing it, is that people could say to you, hey, Trevor, man, whoa, what a change. Nice, man. Look at you look good. Right? Or you look like you have more energy, or you can actually speak this Swahili. Man, I take off my hat to you. I would love to be like you, or, when I say that I'm going to do something, I do it. That's the kind of thing that you want now to get from your friends, so that you get now even more motivation to move on. Or it could be that you want to do certifications, you want to do the exams, and you pass another exam, and you post it on your Facebook or your Instagram, just again for yourself to say, well, hey, because you're talking to self, hey, I can. Yeah, I'm in the habit of achieving great things. I'm in the habit of taking on challenges and meeting those challenges. That's one of the things that you want to do. Right? And we're going to talk about the reinforcing activities now, that once you're doing that, make sure that this is sustainable. Make sure that the things that get you along the line, you continue to do. One key is the term trajectory, right? That if you go back to the transformation into the butterfly, it's moving in the right direction. But initially, when you look at one stage, you might say, but this looks hopeless. The key is the first day you walk around the block, that's the trajectory. You're moving in the right direction. Can you run a 10-second, 100-meter? No. You're moving in the right direction. That's the key. Always be moving in the right direction. Make sure that you're moving towards where you want to go. Moving in the right direction is critical. All right. So there we go. Went ahead of myself. So celebrate the successes. Every time you learn a new phrase or anything, pat yourself on the back, etc. And focus on the positives. Remember now, that how long it is that it took you to develop these bad habits. It might take a little while to develop new ones. So focus on that. If you slip, something goes wrong, don't worry about it. Move forward, right? Okay. And we talked about the self there. So last one before we get into our interactive thing would be to align yourself with the like-minded. Align yourself with the like-minded, yes? You don't want to be on this side when this is who you are. So the key though is I don't know how to emphasize this over and over more than I can't overemphasize this. Sorry, that's what I want to say. So, for example, let us take exercise. One of the keys is that you need to be in a group, so the people will call you. I used to get up and go play tennis early morning, like 6 o'clock. Oh my gosh! But if I, on a morning I not want to sleep, I will get a telephone call to say, okay, I'm on my way. Somebody come and pick you up or whatever. So that's what you want. You want the group incentive, that holding accountable. By the way, that's why they have the church, by the way. That's just sticking that in. That's what the church is supposed to do, is to keep you, in the flock, in the fold, encourage you. So you're not on your own. It's very difficult. Life is challenging to navigate as an independent individual, isolated from everybody else. Very difficult. I would have to take off my hat to people who somehow are committed to being the Lone Ranger. Can't make it. Or even Lone Ranger had turned to some. So here's another reason why you need to align yourself with people that are like you, is the pack. So those stray, believe you me, bad as lions are and so on, they don't go into the middle of the pack to get the prey. They pick off the lame and the halt and those that stray. Yeah? So stay in the group. Find out. That's one of the good reasons as well why in the announcement phase, you should be looking to have others, see if you can rally, see if you can sell some people to come on board. Say, hey, why we don't just learn Swahili? And then guess what? Here's the benefit. Like when we go to a restaurant and so on, we can have a conversation and talk about people and say, what's the money? Watch it. And they won't know, hopefully. So we have a group so we can talk and, communicate easily. I was in Germany with my friend and we could just talk. I have no clue what it is that we're talking about. That's for sure. So that's one of the benefits. So that's why you would want to get a group involved if possible. All right. The other thing to remember though is that giving up is so easy. Basically that's the easiest thing. All you have to do is do nothing. That's nothing is easier than giving up. You just have to do nothing. Just stop. And there are tons of distractions. So that is why you need to align yourself. You need to be in a group, in a crowd. They have support of people that are along the same journey with you. And that's why we're suggesting think big. Go with networks. Yeah, this is the idea that you want to have others with you who are seeing the benefit of what it is that you're doing and join you. And then you can have a movement and that's it. And at the end of the day, you find that you have achieved your purpose. I think that's where I am. Oh, not quite. Donkey Bray, Yeah, you definitely. So you know how hard. Trevor, hold on. You know, you're ignorant. You don't know how hard Swahili is. You don't learn Swahili. You don't understand. Simply, that is why you take on that. You don't really know. Oh, that's it. That's it. Run when you see the the naysayers come. Run, gallop, gallop, gallop. They will kill every dream that you have in life. Every dream. You will never achieve anything in life if you listen to people who will tell you, No, whoa, boy. Okay, I hear you. Yes, sir. Go on. All right. Mm-hmm. So you don't know your position, and where you come from, and who you are. Oh my gosh! All right, I think we get the message there. All right. So the other thing would be to just learn from experts, but the same mistakes that others have identified. So coaching is important. I think, or looking for expertise. Again, nowadays you can get a lot of stuff on the internet or from books or from people. So just look for information rather than, I know some of it is good to experiment, but sometimes you can avoid pitfalls, right? And yeah, you can teach, agree. So maybe one of the things to do though is to respect those who have actually researched the matter and have identified ways for it to be done effectively and do it. So that's where I am. So, questions, comments, etc. What I want to look at while you work out your questions and comments and bring in Brother Andre is to let us look at, in the time available, a habit, any habit that that somebody has. So it's not necessarily your habit, but let us look at a habit that you see out there that you wish people didn't have. And we can just look at, I don't know, 1, 2, or 3 of them before the time is out using the framework. And my brilliant partner will guide you through some of it. So any habits, what habit would you like us to deal with? Something that you see out there in society that you wish that people didn't have. And then we can see if this framework applies along with the tripod, the 3 pillars, which is trigger, environment, and the payoff. Anybody, any habit that you would like us to look at? Go ahead, Sister Carmen. Mic up, your mic is closed.
What is the problem with someone, and this has to do with one of my children. You'd have all these grand ideas, too many. You cannot manage all, and he ends up doing nothing always. I think we touch on something similar to this.
All right. So that's a habit that you want to get rid of. So it's a habit to break, not a new habit. All right. We can still deal with it. All right. Need help? All right. So let us start. By, if we look at it, you can mute. You can mute.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can mute. Okay. All right. So let us use the first framework that we're looking at, which is the trigger, the environment, and the outcome. All right. So basically, what is happening is that he definitely, and you can overlap it here, he's very open to access. He's very open to information coming in. Yes? So that's why he's trying new things. I'm suggesting, all right, let's just move it from him. Let's talk about somebody in that mode, so it's not specific to him, would be open to information. In other words, new ideas come, and he's letting them in, and he's prepared to take action about it. So he's jumped. Maybe what is happening here is that if I'm looking at it this way, the information comes and he's jumping to adjust right away. He probably has left out assess, and that is one of the keys there now. So basically, the information comes in, he accepts everything, he doesn't sieve, as we tell you to do, and that assessment process doesn't take place. So he believes, so none of the counting of the costs, none of the requirements, none of whatever that is going to be involved is taking place. So one adjustment would be, since he's willing to accept information, is to say, count costs. Look at what is involved before you actually dive in and start something new. All right? One word of advice, though, one caution, is because I have failed 6 times, 10 times, 100 times in terms of my projects, it could be that this one is going to work. So you have to be careful that we don't plant a seed to say, man, you never do anything, man, you never succeed, because that would come down to the donkey brain. All right, so you want to be careful that you do not sow that. But looking at it from a positive point of view, I would say, and this is where the environment comes now, the environment sanitation, that middle piece, the process, is the assessment, the counting of the costs. You say, okay, fine, let us examine some of the things that you have said you were going to do. Where did it fall apart? What happened? What went wrong? To see if there are some signs there that can help you to make better decisions going forward. So that's, for me, the focus would be on the assessment aspect. Well, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't say that the adjustment is made. It's probably more access to announce, hey, I'm going to do this, and some of this work is not done. So that's what I'm suggesting, that a critical piece of creating a new you, achieving a purpose, is this process here of assessing what is required and detailing, working out step by step what it is that we have to do. These are critical if we're going to succeed. Yeah. And then, of course, how we apply it, and maybe if we could align the individual with persons who have been there, who have done it, who can mentor. Mentoring would be a great benefit to someone like that, where they can actually go to wiser heads who they respect, who could actually share with them the value of ideating, I use an American thing, of coming up with ideas and being innovative and creative and open to possibilities, have the value of that, but the ability to temper it and to actually bring some of it to fruition. That's where I would go with that. Don't know if that helps. Now, if I look at, going back to the tripod, where we talked about the triggers, that yes, new idea is going to come. We're going to change the middle piece now, where you actually are going to start to evaluate it. And when you look at now the new replacement for the craving of saying, I have tried something new, would be, I have done something. I have concluded something. I have actually done this. That's benefit, so that's the tripod part, where we're looking at it. Okay, you can still respond, but instead of just moving to action, you're going to evaluate more carefully. You're going to sieve more carefully. And the benefit now, the great benefit of that is that you can actually hold that up as a trophy to say, look, I've done this. I'm not going to, I'm not planning to, I'm not trying to, I have done this. That's what I would share. Uncle Andre, anything on that? Anybody else, by the way, in the meantime, has another? I hope that helps coming.
Excellent. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you. It did help.
Okay. All right, cool. Anybody else, any other issue that you have seen out there in society? I know it's not your problem, but no. All right, let me look at one group, Bashful, today. Let us look at some of the things that challenge you. Right? So let us look at health, healthy living, if you want to call it that way. I'm talking about physical now. We can talk about a touchy one if you want. I mean, to look at to see if we have young people on it. But let us look at diet and health and so on. So one of the things that I've spoken about, if you look at the tripod, would be the trigger, right? That there is a situation where after you eat your meal, you must have dessert. And the dessert is probably more than a meal. So let us look at that. So that's a trigger. And the process is as you eat, then you go and get the dessert. And the benefit is that you really feel satisfied. You love, you have a variety of desserts that you eat. Right. So that's one thing. So the first thing that I would look at then is to say, okay, fine, I'm going to eat now. I know that as I'm finished eating, there's something, I just need to change the taste. I'm talking from my expertise point of view because that's me. I need to change the taste of the thing so that I just need So the key then would be that sugar is going to come. So before I get up and go and look for the wrong things, I would actually suggest, this is the environment fix, that I actually take up something healthy that can change the taste, but it's healthy. So let us say you love ice cream, then you could actually work and get some, what do you call it, something, non-fat, non-dairy, something without low-calorie stuff. So I put something there that can change the taste, but won't actually put it. So that would be changing the environment. And the other thing would be that I would notice that over time I'm losing weight. I'm getting to the shape that I would want to get to, and I'm going to feel healthier, because of that process. So that would be using the tripod approach. So how would that apply here? I see the chat, by the way. I see somebody in the chat. I'm coming to that in a minute. So how would that apply here? One of the things that I would have to do if I'm, is that I would have to have access to information about alternatives to sweet stuff after I eat. What are the alternatives? Go on the internet, check, all sorts of things, ask doctors, go to nutritionists, find out, is there a way that I can actually satisfy my craving, changing the taste, as I would call it. I'm not satisfying the craving. I'm not craving. I just want to change the taste. Lie to myself, remember? So I'm going to access the information. I'm going to evaluate which ones work for me. Can I afford the ones that they want or can I not? That's it. And then having done that, I can adjust. Then I can let my people send out on my WhatsApp and whatever, let everybody know that, hey, you know something? I used to, I believe you how much ice cream I eat. No, I'm doing this. Announce it and continue. And see if you can get a clue. Hey, this is what I'm using. You want to get the formula? You want to get where so? Yeah, maybe we can buy it wholesale. That's it. And now, before you know it, I'm a transformed person. If people wonder if I have cancer because the weight that I have lost is unbelievable. Right? That's it. These things work. Trust me. People's blatant disregard to cutting in front of other people. We're down the roads, all right. Murder, all right. Cutting before. So that's how we do that now. That's industry. All right, let me tell you, I'm going to cop out because I can't control the other person. Yes? So if I am a cut in front of person, okay, so remember, you can only fix yourself, right? So I can't fix the other person. So let us say that I am in the habit of cutting in front of people because I'm impatient. I don't, well, man, you see what the bank line long? You think I can come? I only get an hour for lunch. It takes me 15 minutes to come here. It's going to take me 15 minutes to go back. If I go and spend a half an hour at the bank, when I go and eat? No. You can't bother with that. So I see my friend up the top of the thing, yeah. How you doing? Okay, and I'm in. Right. So therefore, that's me. Okay. So I am a cut in front of person. What do I do? First of all, well, let us use the tripod first. Trigger. The trigger is, my gosh, this line is long. There's no way that I am going to wait. So every time there is a wait, I am going to look to cut. So that's my trigger. All right. How do I deal with this? This is a hard one. And the payoff at the other end is I get through faster. I get through more. Yeah, that's it. I get through faster. That's my payoff. All right. So the first thing that you have to look at, and by the way, habits, that's it. I get through faster. That's my change if you really want to. So if you really want to. So there's absolutely nothing that you can do to me if I decide that this is my way of life. The amount of hours I've saved in my life by doing this, we don't care what you say. People can vex and say what they have to say for their business, but I am not changing. So forget me. Okay. So I'm assuming now that there is something in me that you have awakened because I have allowed some information to come in. And the information could be as simple as, what if, tell me something, if you're in the line and somebody cut in front of you, what you say? What you do? You just allow it and say, man, it's cool, it's all right. 99.9999% of persons who do that would say, no way, you're mad. You could sit and they probably scratch at the wheel of the car before they let in the person. So, or in the line say, no, man, no, I was here. No, you can't cut in front of me, boss man. You don't say everybody, see the end of the line down this way you go. No, man. No, what are letting me? No, when I will get back to work, stop. So that is going to be the noisy person. So what you want to say to me, hopefully information will come in to me to say, you see how you get angry and upset when somebody cut in front of you? Have you ever stopped to think about what the others in the line think when you do that? Do you have any conscience? Yeah? When you want to do that? Suppose everybody did that. You know how the line would be long? Yeah? 10 people come with their friends in front of you. What are you going to do? So that could be a message, hopefully, that they would accept, having assessed the veracity of it, and then make the adjustment. However, you have to go back to your tripod. What is the payoff for that? What is it that they would now get from standing up in the back of the line of the traffic at the top of Russell Heights, knowing that it's going to take them half an hour before you get to the traffic light? What is it that you could actually give me? Hard. I can't think of a payoff, and that's why people will continue to cut the line. But basically, yeah. So that gives you a typical example now. What would have to happen in that case? I'm running out of time. I'm going to beg for like a few minutes because I see another touch here. What would have to happen with this situation for the person to come there? Something else, some higher order thinking has to come into place. And by the way, that is how they get a new you. That is by when people, for example, get converted, they start to think about things differently. So that kind of information would have to come in that, so yes, you are actually spending more time in the line, but in a number of ways, you're a better person. You are actually understanding relationships in a different kind of way. And in your wait, here's a time to reflect. Maybe you can have something that you walk with, on your phone, that you can read something or you can do something, and you can use the time more beneficially. So rather than staying in the line, quarreling and fussing, you're actually developing yourself. You're actually reading something that is empowering. So that's the kind of message that you would have to get. So while you're in the back of the line going down the heights, you could actually have, audio podcasts that you listen to. That's the kind of transition that could work, but it requires a change of mindset for the individual. Yeah. No ticket from police. That's good. Right. All right. So we have to wrap up because we try to be disciplined. Um, so some people get angry or upset when you try something new. And when you announce it, they're either negative or might say, donkey bray, that's what I'm saying, Jasmine. Might say things like you're blowing the trumpet or boasting. Or they want to be included in your transformation, not realizing it is not about them, but about you making a transformation. Yeah, you can have support, and then people can actually try and naysay, or in some of the cases that you mentioned is that they want to crowd it out, which is might not always be possible. So yeah, that's going to be there. YT says, and for the person who cut in the line, no stabbing from a very disgruntled and annoyed person. Maybe they pay off less hospital bill. All right, I hear you. So yeah, so those are some of the things that you can get a ticket. But I want a more sustainable, because cutting the line in traffic is the same idea of cutting the line wherever, the lunch line. If you go to the buffet, they want to cut in front of you the same way. But it's just a mindset. So you'd have to actually change that mindset. All right, it's 8:00 in my discipline time. I would ask for any comments, any question. I would answer those, but I won't add any new information. In the meantime, while you are thinking about what they want to share or not, let me just indicate that the next session, what is it again, Brother Andre? I have a senior moment. Go ahead.
Am I the victim or the victimizer in my relationship?
Right. Am I the victim or the victimizer in my relationship? Powerful stuff. And that will take place on the, where I know. Man, I should come with a prepared. Where are my admin people? Everybody leave me. All right, so that is going to be the 20th of March. 20th of March, 6:30. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. If you have found value here, could you invite persons? We are prepared this cake, and it's a vegan cake, so you don't have to worry about it. You won't put on anything. And we want to make it available to people. All right. All right. So that's where we are tonight. If any of my admins are here, I don't have that PowerPoint up. Would like to invite you using the same link. We meet for worship at the St. Andrew Church of Christ. You can use the same link at 9 a.m. And then we have Bible class at 11:15 a.m. And then we also meet on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. for our Bible class. So we would love to have you. Remind you that if you go to standrewchurchofchrist.org/media, you will have a replay of this pretty soon. Not sure when this is going to be up, but the entire series is up, and we have covered some really, really powerful stuff. Some of the stuff that Brother Andre has presented, believe you me, you would now be getting a bank loan if you were to pay for it. So please share this opportunity with others, and thank you for your time, and good night. Oh, today's recording is available right now as we speak. If you want to create a new you, this is it. Or, for example, Sister Carmen Yes, you can give to your son. let him go through. This is new information coming in.
Yeah. I'll send him the
Yeah, send him the link. Thank you very much for the kind responses. Look forward to seeing you on the 20th. And I have a thought, and that is if you wanted to be reminded, because sometimes, as you see, I had to be looking at when is the 3rd. If you want to be reminded, if you want to put in the private chat, a direct message, you can actually give your email address and we will actually send you a notification. We won't bother you, but we just say to you, hey, this session is coming up, remember. So if you want to do that, you can actually send me your email, and I will not send you junk, but I will, in fact, just remind you it's happening. All right. Thank you. May God bless you. Please keep safe and see you in worship tomorrow. This has been a presentation of the St. Andrew Church of Christ.